Yeah, but get the f out of here with that.
That's at a sentencing, Corey. That's at a sentencing. And he's like, this is the time to dust off an old classic. Hey.
Trying to bring up that nostalgia so to make people be like, oh, I remember Fat Albert. That's my childhood. Don't let him go to jail. Yeah. Hey, take your ass to jail today. Man, f this dude.
Mr. Bill Cosby is in the headlines again. Bill Cosby is made a plea to a judge for a compassionate release because he is at risk and he does not think he will survive if he contracts COVID-19, which prison populations are very vulnerable for. So he's got a little bit of a point there. But he was summarily denied very quickly. He wasn't the only one to ask for a release, by the way. There was a couple other big people. Harvey Weinstein actually got the corona and now is totally fine. So I guess he doesn't need this anymore. And a couple of Trump allies and associates, one guy named Roger Stone and one guy named Michael Cohen, his lawyer. But no, all of them got denied except for the Michael Cohen. He's out somehow. And I wanted to ask a question here. Because Bill Cosby, I think, is a very, very specific case for people. Because before any of these like horrific allegations were super widespread, he was very important to people, both as a comedian, right, as a stand-up comedian. One of his early records, one of my favorite things in the entire world, and then for his sitcom in the 80s and the second sitcom in the 90s, and also didn't he do the mystery show, Corey?
Nobody remembers that shit. It'll be a mystery trying to dig that shit up, man. The Cosby mysteries, yeah.
And that's my point. So a lot of people have this real emotional tie to him, right? People call him like America's grandfather. He was not given a compassionate release. And this is not even a real story. This is just a discussion I want to have with you and the Toasties. So if you're down, have it with me, which is, what are the limits of compassion as a nation? Like, this is an elderly guy who's blind, who is definitely high risk if he were to get this, right? Like, some part of us has to use basic logic and feeling and say, like, yeah, he probably should be released from there, right? Because we want to be humane. At the same time, the crimes he did are so fucking terrible, so atrocious to me, that it's like maybe there is a limitations to our collective compassion.
As far as Cosby goes, and as far as all these people go, that is my short answer right there. Them all. And the reason why is because all of these people are full of shit. Corona's just another reason for them to try to get out of the time that they should be serving. These motherfuckers have been trying to do this before they even got into prison. Fuck them all, man. All of them had some sort of gimmick or some sort of play that their lawyers concocted for them to try to like pull on the people's sympathies. Cosby and especially Weinstein. But Cosby, man, Cosby was trying to pull that shit that you're talking about, that America's dad, and that's America's grandfather, and hey, you remember me? I mean, look, he needs to go to jail just for pulling out some old shit. He tried to get on people's sympathetic side by quoting Fat Albert.
16 hours, how are you feeling, Mr. Cosby?
Yeah, but get the f out of here with that.
That's at a sentencing, Corey. That's at a sentencing. And he's like, this is the time to dust off an old classic. Hey.
Trying to bring up that nostalgia so to make people be like, oh, I remember Fat Albert. That's my childhood. Don't let him go to jail. Yeah. Hey, take your ass to jail today. Man, f this dude. This dude, man. This guy, again, I wasn't there, so I don't want to say for a definite, but in my mind as a definite, this guy did a heinous thing of drugging women and raping them, man. And he expects now for other people to have sympathy just because he came out and said, hey. Yeah, yeah, hey, don't rape people. How about that?
No, listen, I'm actually 100% on your side, man. The reason I brought this story up was because I was like disgusted with myself for a second for being like, fuck him, I hope he rots in there. I felt bad for half a second until I thought about it. I'm like, no, like we have the social contract and like we have laws and if you break those laws, we have this idea that you should pay for them, right? Yeah. But this wasn't like a one-time thing. And even if it were, he would still have to pay his debt to society. This is a serial rapist, for lack of a better word. And so my compassion pretty much ends when he has irrevocably changed people's lives forever, him and Weinstein.
Yeah.
You know, like the Trump people are a little bit different, because even though I just don't like them on a political level, like as far as I know, they haven't done anything remotely as heinous.
Look,
so I think my compassion is like, sure, get them out, don't let them die. But for these two people, maybe it makes me a bad person.
Look, no, it doesn't make you a bad person, man. Do your fucking time. That's all it is. You did a crime, and you did it multiple times, and they were horrible crimes. Shut the fuck up and do your time. And I'm more offended that this son of a bitch tries to pull out cartoons to make light of the situation. I mean, it's more, you know, I can understand if he tried to like act like, you know, a fatherly or a grandfatherly guy to these people, but he's mocking these victims by pulling out a cartoon character. You know, right. Fat Albert. That is some sick shit, man. Hang a while and have fun. And if you're not careful, you might get raped before it's done. You know, fuck you, man. This dude. Same thing with Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein, this bitch was trying to do this shit way before he even got into prison, man. That whole thing of walking out with this, coming out with this walker, nobody was buying that shit. So nobody's gonna buy anything that he's talking about. Even when he had corona, I said that ain't got it. He done, and look, and all of a sudden it's mysteriously gone. Quick recovery. He's in the, and by the way, he is in the high risk group, and he's talking about I had corona, and then when he found out, yeah, f you're not leaving. He's like, oh, okay, all right, I ain't got it no more. Now all these guys, they always have an angle, man. They always have an angle, and that is a sign of a cowardly predator. They pull that kind of shit on people, they victimize people, and then the moment that they have to actually do something hard, such as hard time, they try to find a way to get out of it. No, f them, man. Shut the f up. I don't care how old you are, and do your time, and quit trying to pull this shit. It's like a little kid trying to get out of school, except, you know, a little kid didn't rape somebody. You know, I mean, shut up, man. The f out of here.
Let me ask you this, because I think we're 100% on the same page here, so maybe we can disagree on this. What's your relationship with his work at this point? Because say what you want. Again, the Cosby Show is that's a brilliant show. I don't care what anyone says. It's also this moment in the sand, right? This before Christ, after death moment where we had a black family on a major network, and it was the second or third highest rated show on the network. So you look at that, plus, like I said, I have my affinity for stand-up comedy, but what's your relationship with his work? Like, are you able to go back to it at all?
And I that's what we always come to, man. Let me see here. So I have it on me right now because I have to go in.
No worries.
And I got to play with the browser right here and actually bring up some things. But let me see here. I Spy is a TV show. I'm just talking to myself as I type this in. Cosby, this is the thing with Cosby, man, just like with OJ, is, you know, if you want to ask my relationship with this guy, Cosby was also a groundbreaking, innovative, barrier transcending figure. This guy, you know, he was in this show I Spy, where he again, they can say, okay, if you're next to a white dude, you're not, look, we ain't gonna make you a complete hero. You know, this Negro still gonna carry this man's luggage all around everywhere. He still managed to make him somewhat of a butler, but he gave a lot of people something to look up to, even though the show predates me. He gave a lot of black people something to look up to because he was also sort of an action star along with him. As you can see right there. He was smooth, man. Believe it or not, there was a time where Cosby wasn't all about the all that, you know, crazy shit. Cosby was cool, man. And people looked at Cosby and they said, wow, this is representing, because he finally let a black man on TV who could hang out, keep up with white people and not have to be a clown or a fool. And that's why it hurts to see this come up. And now you got to ask yourself, with a situation like this, can I separate the man from the art? That's always the thing. And I'm not one to go off and tell people that they have to separate the man from the art, you know, or the person from the art. You deal with it like you want to. There are certain people, I can't watch their shit anymore. There are certain people I don't feel comfortable listening to their shit anymore, you know, and that's just me. And then there's some things that people have done. I'm like, okay, I can separate it from right here. You do what makes you feel comfortable. Cosby, yeah, I could probably go back and watch some of the old stuff that he's done. I could probably go back and watch, you know, Picture Pages and Fat Albert and all that kind of stuff. But don't be surprised if there's a time where I'm just kind of like, God damn. Every time I watch Fat Albert now, I just think about that fat raping people. You know, it's hard. You know, I will say it is difficult, and that's what really hurts for a lot of people. This man betrayed a lot of people's trust. This man betrayed a lot of people's worship of him. You know, he betrayed a lot of people who saw him break tear down those boundaries. Man, it's an angering thing, and I mean the most angering thing should definitely be the rape that he's done. But it's, you know, yeah, for me that's the thing that hurt, man, because I was there for that time.
Yeah, no, I think in a way it's a little bit like Sidney Poitier, who, from as long as I know, doesn't have any scandals and was also this like kind of barrier breaking actor. And you're happy that there's nothing there. I remember like when I watched Louis after the Louis stuff, there's one episode where he like refuses to let Pamela Adlon leave the room. And it's like, oh, it's encroaching, some assault shit. And it was fine in the moment. Everyone was like, oh, no, that's Louis making a comment on toxic masculinity. And then that shit came out and we were like, oh, fuck, he confessed to it in a scene. Yeah. And it makes it really hard to go back and to watch all that stuff. And again, I think that Louis show at times is one of the best shows the last 10 years. Same thing with Cosby. Like, to my brother Russell, whom I shared a bed, is one of his early stand-up comedy records that I heard when I was like 6. It's still amazing to me. It's one of the best things I've ever heard. And I can't return to it because unfortunately, like, there is a difference, like, and the Cosby thing is just really, really egregious.
I'm putting up one person in particular right now, because y'all have heard me talk about a lot of people. Roman Polanski, I'm not gonna go in on that. That's somebody I cannot watch this shit anymore, man. I can't do it. It's just hard for me. It's hard for me because so many people have given this guy a pass, and it depresses me when I watch it, and it angers me. I can't do it. And this is somebody else. I can't listen to this person's music anymore, man.
Now I'm not trying to be rude, but hey, pretty girl, I'm feeling you.
Yeah, and fuck you. You know, this dude, R. Kelly, man, I can't. So many people have tried to, like, they've been kissing his ass, and so many people have, like, tried to deny all the allegations that have happened with him and going up against all evidence. I'm just like, fuck this guy, man. Once society tries to give a person a pass because they're so, it goes back to what we were talking about with the athletes. Once they, you know, the hero worship is so deep, celebrity worship is so deep that it becomes a cult of personality and people can't bring themselves out of it. I'm gone. I'm doing the opposite. I can't take it anymore. I'm out because stupidity is just, I can't deal with it. I can't.
Well, we do this all the time as a society, man. Like, and I think Gerard Carmichael made a really good joke about this on one of his stand-up bits, but he's like, how talented is Woody Allen? One daughter. That's what we collectively decided, right? Because we just let him work like for 30 years after his daughter accused him. And we do this all the time. Like, we won't cancel people outright because we deem them so talented. In the case of R. Kelly, it's like Ignition is a bop. I think we can all say that, right? Maybe the best song ever, but it's certainly tarnished. But there's a bunch of people out there who hear that song and hear some of his other stuff, and they're all like, yeah, no way you could have made that. It's just, dude, last example is like the Michael thing. Yeah. People are so close to Michael Jackson's music, you know, that they refuse to believe that he's capable of doing these things. And I think what we need to realize, people are inherently bad most of the time, and they make mistakes. It's weird to put these people up on a pedestal.
Well, you know, like I said, when people they'll come to me and say, well, you still listen to Mike? And I'm like, well, I don't know. You still look at Woody Allen? I don't know, man. You know, I'll tell you, if I don't know, I don't know. Some people want a definite answers on things, and I don't know. I'm not ashamed to tell you that.